As someone who's always had a soft spot for animated films, especially anything involving the Looney Tunes, I was genuinely excited for the day the Earth blew up. This is the first fully animated Looney Tunes feature to hit theaters. No live action actors, no basketballs, no weird celebrity cameos, just pure animation, just the tunes. And that alone should be celebrated. But does it live up to the legacy? Well, kind of. The movie focuses almost entirely on Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, with Petunia Pig along for the ride, which honestly feels like both a blessing and a missed opportunity. Don't get me wrong, Daffy and Porky are comedy gold, and they've always worked great as a duo. But Looney Tunes as a brand is built on its massive, chaotic ensemble. Where's Bugs? Where's Elmer Fudd, Roadrunner, Sylvester, Tweety, Marvin, Granny? Even Wile E. Coyote deserves a cameo. It's the same universe that built comedy chaos through variety, and this movie narrows it down way too much. The plot is simple, cookie-cutter sci-fi setup. An alien invasion, bubblegum-based scheme to take over Earth, and a bunch of twists, wordplay, and fourth wall-breaking gags. It's fun, it's cute, it's exactly the kind of nonsense you'd expect from Looney Tunes, but it also feels a bit small, like a glorified episode of a Looney Tunes TV special rather than a full-blown cinematic experience. And that's kind of the issue for me. This movie isn't bad. In fact, parts of it are delightfully silly. It just never hits the heights it could have. The gags are there, but they're not outrageous. The animation is solid, but not mind-blowing. The story is fine, but it's not as wildly unhinged or inventive as the Looney Tunes legacy begs for. There's no moments where I felt like this movie totally broke free and went off the rails in a way that made me think, yes, this is what I came for. Still, I loved sitting in the theater watching these characters in full animation on the big screen. It's rare and it felt special, even if the movie fully didn't deliver. This is a UFO-based movie that apparently was inspired by lots of classic black and white sci-fi movies like Invasion of the Saucer Men. This does feel like a classic type of story. It's just so narrowed down to this sci-fi premise. I think with Looney Tunes, they are capable of going beyond and doing all sorts of things. That's what makes Looney Tunes fun. There's no real rule with a Looney Tunes gag. Things can happen, there can be lots of fourth wall breaks. It just doesn't feel like this film delivers. What is frustrating to me, though, is how poorly this film was treated. After 1 week, it was pushed to limited daytime only showings, and I saw this at Union Square during an afternoon. I wanted to go at night, and it still was a good experience. The theater was packed, kids were laughing, adults were laughing, people did show up, so why didn't the studio support it more? I do think because the Looney Tunes brand is not something that's that accessible to young kids, or people in general aren't really clamoring to see a Looney Tunes movie. That's probably why this movie failed. And on top of everything I mentioned with the movie just kind of having this very narrow story, there wasn't anything to draw in other people. Space Jam: New Legacy was god-awful. I really did not like that movie at all. It was a terrible corporate commercial, but it did have LeBron James. That drew in people. I don't think people really cared about Looney Tunes, as sad as it is to say. Plus, it had tons of other IP from Warner Brothers. That movie was just fucking awful. But I did wish this movie, as simple and small as it was, got more support. It did deserve better. It deserved a real push, a real campaign, and more faith in its potential. It's not perfect, but it's a start. And maybe if it had got more eyes on it, we'd see more animated Looney Tunes films down the line. Maybe even one with the whole crew. Looney Tunes: The Day the Earth Blew Up is a perfectly okay movie. It's fun, a bit too safe, and feels more like an extended episode than a true theatrical event. But if you love the tunes and you want to see them back in animated form on the big screen, it's worth checking out if you can still find a screening.